Hey, party people, it's Cliff. Good morning. You'll own nothing and like it and be happy, as the saying goes. But you know what's funny about that saying? Everybody repeats it, everybody parrots it like it's 1999. And I have a different theory, I have a different opinion. Because I live in a small little, studio. The kitchen and the floor is the whole concrete slab, like it does this, like it heats and cools. And like, so in the middle of my kitchen, the floor is like raised and lower, but that's probably because of the cracking or the oscillation of the concrete block underneath. The walls aren't really painted that well. There's like, some poor homeless folks that are sitting outside this fence. There's just quite a bit of stuff that is, it's livable. I haven't turned on the furnace in forever because it's LA. You don't need to you don't need to turn on the furnace for forever and a day. There's loud bikers outside. Not bikers. I don't want to, pigeonhole anybody, but there's whatchamacallit. There's a lot of traffic. There's people, there are people revving their engines. Like, there's helicopters flying overhead, and I said to myself, do I want to own this thing? Do I want to, do I want to live here and own this place where I live? And I'm like, no, I don't. Because the problems that come up, like all of a sudden I just call up the landlord and be like, hey, this thing is broken, fix it. And if you don't do that, then it's like, well, all right, well, law says you need to fix it. So you need to make the place a livable dwelling. And so this whole idea about, getting a house, owning a house, it's like, how many people have bought a house pure cash, right? How many? Not a lot. You always got to take out a mortgage. And when you take out a mortgage, they charge you interest. And when they charge you interest, it's the same as being, getting paid the amount of rent that you're getting. There's some sort of squeaking somewhere that's happening. Maybe not my car, but somewhere else. It's unusually bright out here. I'm going to throw on the glasses. But, I think you have your folks who... I watched a video the other day, and I do agree. I think that, sometimes homeless folks who get into a bad situation, they can't get out of it because of their situation. And the only thing I guess I can think of is like, all right, that's fair. That's fair. Not going to knock on anybody. But when you're looking at these folks and they're being interviewed in like, and they're being interviewed in their home, and then you look at all the stuff in the background and you're like, oh, well, that's a lot of stuff in the background. Why is my camera like flipping around? That's all right. You can see my stomach. I don't care. But just pay attention to that when you're watching a video, right? Like when you're watching a video and where these folks are talking about their things, whether it's on the news, whether it's a YouTube channel, you look at all the stuff in the background, and all that stuff costs money, and all that stuff, it needed to be bought at some point. And I guess that's the thing, right? Like, you watch the last however many videos I've watched. I've even forgot my watch today. Oh well, that's fine. No big deal. I have 6 shirts. Like, sure, this shirt costs $60, but I only have 6 shirts. I don't buy anything else. I don't need anything else. Like, I need to get gas for the car, but that's it, right? Like, and as far as ownership of something, right? I'm not going to admit what I own, but I do own something, and it's helped. And I know it's going against the grain, where it's like you'll own nothing and enjoy it. And I think I got to blow my nose. Oh man. Let's see if I can get this thing right. This little thingy is doing a thing. I don't know. We're at a stoplight, so it's okay. Maybe the ball is doing a thing. Maybe it's just a cheap Chinese knockoff product, right? But anyway, here's my thing, right? Is that, the saying is, you want to own assets, you don't want to own liabilities, and you want to make sure your money goes a long way, and you want to make sure you're in money flow, and all of these people, and essentially, I don't know how to help you across the interwebs in order to get you to sort of mentally prepare that money is sort of the thing that you need to like really focus on. And in order to get like your first like dab of money, you need to focus on skills that people want. And right now, the skills that people want are stuff where it's like trade skills where you can fix stuff, skills that are highly sought after, and not like a little bit of the tech industry and not really the tech industry. There's a YouTube video about this where you can buy Amazon pallets, and this one girl like used AI to tell her what books were on these pallets from the pictures, on whatever it was, and then she used the AI, and the AI said like, oh, you could probably make a profit if you get these things, and then she got those things. But that's one of those things where like there's infinite ways to make money, but the easiest way is to develop a skill that the easiest way to do it is to do something that nobody else wants to do, right? And it's kind of like if you want to be a basketball player and you want to make millions of dollars on a basketball team, it's like you better be good, and not just like good like in your hometown or good. You have to be nationwide good. You have to be worldwide good, because there's only 30 people on a basketball team, or however many people there are, right? And in the NBA level, and that's the only time you ever get paid. The same with a football team. It's like you got to be the best in everything, and it's hard to be the best in everything. Like, I consider myself the best, one of the best development editors out here in Hollywood, and guess what? I got laid off. So, going after those moonshots, right? Like being an Instagram influencer, being Mr. Beast on YouTube, like being a AAA actor. You could do that. You can get to those places. I'm not saying not to, but I'm saying you got to be the best, and it's hard to be the best. So if you're not the best, you got to figure out like the usual stuff, or the stuff that people don't want to do that pays, like, and develop a skill in order to do that. Now, that might mean classes, that might mean certifications, that might mean, doing something that you don't know exists, and watching YouTube videos isn't going to help you find that. What is going to help you find that is you go to like meetings, community meetings, you talk with people, you get involved with your community, and then you figure out what kind of business opportunities are there, and you go after it. And maybe I'm out of the game for a hot minute or so, but like if you're I guess you get your Class C certification, like driver's license for driving a commercial vehicle, and maybe there's some training on like driving those vehicles. But I like, all right, for instance, driving for Uber or Lyft, you're not going to make any money. You're gonna barely make ends meet. And in my opinion, it's like, like taxi drivers, the medallion thing that the New York taxi drivers like get, and that they have to spend a whole like 10 years getting, like it all went away. I guess that's the other thing too, is you got to figure out, like, you got to look toward, you got to be very proactive if you're in any kind of industry, is you got to like continuously look towards the future and see like what's going on and see how the things adapt and evolve, and what the demand is for a lot of people out there. And I don't know, it's like if you're driving for Uber, like I could click on an app, I can click go and then drive for Uber. Like everybody can do that, so therefore it's not going to get paid a lot. But If you have the certain skill sets that, like, oh, you're really a really good electrician, you can go in there and you can solve the electrician problems. Or you're a really good car mechanic. It's not glamorous, it's not exciting, but you go in there and you can fix cars. You know what problems come up at some point. You go in there and you fix you fix cars. You make your own little shop. I think one of the things out here in LA is it's like the car washing business is a little bit is both like easy to get into and not easy to get into. Like there's certain things to understand. But human services, that's what I like to call it. Human services. Like, it's like basically, what do people need? And if you satisfy that need, you're going to be fine making the money. And then if that need doesn't pay enough money, then you have to find some other need to do it. I don't know. I'm rambling. But that's, I guess, what I'm doing this on my day to work. It's 6 weeks until I get laid off, or 6 weeks until my last day. And so I've been even planning and prepping for the days that come after it. And it's one of those things, like, if you like, let's pretend that I own stuff. If I own stuff, that's not generating any income or money, then once I get laid off, I'm gonna have to figure out how to pay for all that stuff. But since I didn't buy stuff, since I didn't get buy assets, or buy liabilities, I should say, not assets, the income isn't there. But that's the other thing. I guess I saved up. I guess I didn't, and this is like that's the thing. It's the last 15 years, right? Last 15 years, I've always held this like belief in my head that I'm going to be fired tomorrow. And that's kind of the belief that I want you guys to take it home, is that whatever job you have, it doesn't matter who you are. It could be a CEO, could be, pencil pushers, like government job, you will be fired tomorrow. Like, treat your life as if you'll do that and you will be fine, because you're not going to buy anything. You're not going to eat out. You're not going to do a lot of things. You might go on 1 or 2 vacations. You might splurge a little bit, but you just don't. That's my take. And so after 15 years, I finally got laid off, and I'm totally fine. Like, I have no worry. I have no, like, and that, I guess that's the best part, right? Is being disciplined about it. Now, I don't know. Like I said, I'm rambling on. And I guess, like, in a way, it's really like responsibilities, right? Do I want to be responsible for owning this thing that supposedly generates money, but really doesn't? I mean, you got to crunch the numbers too. I don't know. I see the YouTube videos, like, the people with Airbnb, or the people with Turo, and the people that even the car wash businesses, or laundromats, or things that you think won't take any energy. And like, I own a rental in North Carolina. I fully have that. Like, I think there was probably, in other words, like, I own a rental. Yes, it does make money when somebody's in there. I never raise the rent, because I'd rather have somebody in there, like, happy, paying like what they pay for the rent, than trying to, like, nickel and dime somebody else to get like an extra $100 a month. And it's one of those things where, like if worse comes to worse, for the next 5 years, I could pay the mortgage on that rental thing. And I think folks don't think far enough ahead into the future to be like, hey, what happens at X amount of years? What happens at this amount of years that happens? I don't know. I just think ownership of stuff isn't all that it's cracked up to be. And I also think that the prevention of ownership is is definitely a thing. But man, I don't want to own stuff. Like, I do, but I don't. because in this weird world, it's like owning more stuff means more responsibilities and more work and more things in order to upkeep it. And that's something that I'm just kind of like, nah, I'm totally cool with exactly like what I get, just like a little one condo thing that's rented out, some cryptocurrencies and investments, and that's it. I don't keep track of anything else. Very, very simple, I suppose. Very simple life. I don't know, maybe a business somewhere, but I fully expect not to earn any income with those businesses. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe there might be a part 2 at some point on this silly video, but hopefully you guys learned something. I sure didn't, or maybe I did. But I'll see you guys next time. Have a good day.